my mic?
Got one. We have one.
I think we're okay, yeah. How do I make it go? Oh no. Meet Jack. Jack is incredibly lazy. Jack never has time to check the weather. He just grabs something random from the coat hook. Something completely inappropriate. What Jack needs is Hook, the internet-enabled coat rack. Now when Jack gets to the door, he knows instantly what to wear. In sun, in rain, and even in snow. Now Jack feels great every day.
Go to the next one.
How do I get to the next one?
Next one. Little thing. Hello, we are Team Hook. My name's Ed, and I've been working on the actual design of the product.
I'm Jenny. I've been working on the front end and actually building the hardware.
I'm Cameron. I've been working on the back end and sort of getting the Pi to work.
I'm Darcy, and I did the LED programming.
So, what is the Hook? The Hook, as Jenny said, is an internet-enabled coat rack system. It gets your geolocation and then gets information from the Met Office to display an animation over the hook of the item of clothing that you should wear that day. But how did we come up with the idea? Well, we wanted to create something that was easy to use for people that were busy in their everyday lives. We were in BBC Birmingham for our centre, and we saw people running around every day, and they didn't have the time to open apps or go on websites to check what the weather is and things like that. So we then thought, well, what's really easy? And we thought of this LED idea. How do we test the Hook? We were lucky enough to be able to get some of the users from the BBC to test the product. It enabled us to find out what they really wanted, not just what was easy for us to code, to enable us to create a final product which people love. Who is Hook aimed at? Hook is aimed at people that A, love technology, like a bit of fun in their lives, but then don't have the time to be opening apps every morning, check the weather, and just need something on their way out to work, in the corridor, to just pick up and go. So, you may be wondering, well, there's only 4 hooks there, so we don't want our snow coat on the Hook all year round when it only snows for a month and a half during the year. So that's one of the things that the BBC users told us. So we then went away and created this user interface. It uses a Raspberry Pi, so it's all programmable. And it means that on here, you can add and remove hooks, and then you can select what item of clothing you want on the hook each day. And then the system automatically updates itself and runs the right animations. But how does it work? I'll pass on to our technical expert.
Right, so inside our little box, which is currently covered up, we have... Oh, it's not covered up anymore. That's nice. We have a Raspberry Pi with an external battery pack, which is chucking up a web server. So you can configure it from your local LAN. This is then running a Python script, which pulls in data from the Met Office and lights up the appropriate hook. So we do actually have a demonstration. I checked the weather today, so if this doesn't light up the right hook, we may have a problem. Okay, so it's obtaining the forecast, and there we go. It's sunny today, so it's lit up the hook that has the nice yellow T-shirt on. So yeah, that's our little LED system.
And that's not all of it. We plan to extend Hook. It doesn't end here. We want to make it more modular, so just add more coat hooks, maybe a whole wardrobe. We can integrate it with your calendar so it knows where you're going, so where to forecast it for if it's not just at home right outside your door, to create an Internet of Things. We want to add an LCD screen to the top to show forecast and things like pollen count, humidity, as well as cloud hosting, log on from anywhere, not just on the Raspberry Pi server, and native apps, because everybody loves an app for their stuff.
Someone told me to end on with a hook, so here it is.
Thank you.
Amazing. Judges, questions?
Where does Hook get its power from?
It actually has an internal external battery pack around the back here, which is quite large, and it should power it for a few weeks at a time. However, you can just unclip a bit at the back and run a USB cable out the back. It's fairly long, and that can then plug into the wall, or you get the adapters for the plugs. So the battery pack is in there.
And when does Hook figure out to actually give you the information?
What happens is it uses geolocation. So the first time you go on to customize the hooks.
No, but when I walk out the door, is it just flashing the whole day, or does it figure out that I'm about to go?
At the moment, it just flashes the whole day. Because it uses so little power, because all it is just little LEDs, it can run the whole day, and that's not a problem. However, that's one of the things we are looking at, is add on an infrared sensor, along with adding infrared sensors on each hook, so you know when you've taken the item off the hook as well.
So you could remind people to put the item back. And they
Yeah. Any more questions?
Have you considered adding some audio?
Yes, it's actually a relatively simple thing to do, just to add a speaker into the back and then have pre-programmed voice messages to play whenever the infrared sensor is triggered.
What's the production cost of that?
The production cost currently is actually relatively small, because all you've got is the external battery pack, which you can pick about £20, Raspberry Pi, then you've got the actual hook, which is about 99p. This is made out of Lego. We have a future idea to actually, have it out of wood and then have it like a jigsaw puzzle, a jigsaw piece. So each hook is its own jigsaw to make it a more modular system.
So that's a total of £25, £30?
Yeah, you could probably make it for under £60.
Under
60.
60.
60.
Got it.
Have you considered using Spark Core Arduinos or something like that rather than Pis, which are much more expensive?
We actually originally created with an Arduino, but then we realized that the Raspberry Pi was a lot easier for sending the impulse signals for the circuit boards. So it meant that we soldered our own circuit board. Jenny was our solderer. And it meant that actually the Raspberry Pi was a little bit easier because it had the ports were a lot easier to use, and we were all familiar with the Raspberry Pi system. But yes, an Arduino would work.
Yeah, just from a production cost point of thing, the Spark Core the Spark Core boards are very good because they're Wi-Fi and they're tiny.
Yeah, it's got a little Wi-Fi adapter in the Raspberry Pi at the moment, which syncs up to a Raspberry Pi server, which will cover your whole house. Yep. So yes, any computer within your house can log on.
Any other questions from judges? No? Right, let's have a massive round of applause for them and for everyone. Now, the thing that I didn't explain yesterday is that how all of these people end up being on stage and some of them are not on stage is because yesterday morning we had 7 concurrent heats where all the YRSs were presenting to panels of judges X Factor style like this. And then we had semi-finals yesterday afternoon, and then we got through to here. Lots of different people have been looking at lots of different projects, and I've seen so many, and lots of you didn't get through, and I'm sorry that you didn't get through. I'm afraid it's just that's life. But you have to get used to that. But you are all amazing, and I'm sure that the actual week is far more important to you, and also seeing all of your mates here once a year is more important to you anyway than actually winning. That's what we say. So we're actually not running insanely behind, which is brilliant, thanks to Julia and her amazing running schedule that she has here. However, it would be awesome if we could start